What's your view on science has already produced many research findings which help society understand that Buddhism is actually not superstition? Can all aspects of Buddhism be explained by science?
These are two separate questions. First, in the past 6 months in China, at the end of last year, China Central Television held a Buddhist seminar with the topic, Buddhism and Science. Suddenly, in many places and many enterprises across the country, there has been a surge of interest in the relationship between them. I have also, in various places across the country, given many talks on Buddhism and science. This time, I brought a book with me, my book, Buddhism and Science. I'm giving it to everyone as a token of connection. So, when it comes to modern science, we understand the latest scientific developments, especially in fields such as physics and astronomy, including Einstein's theory of relativity, quantum mechanics, and the latest string theory, including how consciousness affects the surrounding. In such series of theories, they found the insights into the natural laws of the entire universe are consistent with what the Buddha taught. Scientific findings are consistent with the Buddha's teachings on emptiness, impermanence, non-self, and that everything is created by the mind. It can be said that modern science's understanding of the universe as a whole doesn't conflict with Buddha's teachings. Rather, it aligns well. However, we cannot say that science proves what the Buddha said is right or wrong, because the Buddha's understanding of the universe is deep and grew faster than science. So now science can only prove that part of what the Buddha said is correct, but it cannot fully prove that everything the Buddha said is correct. For example, our very renowned and famous Chinese physicist, Professor Zhu Qingxi, former president of the University of Science and Technology of China, once famously said, when scientists, after enduring countless hardships, finally reach the mountaintop, they find that the great masters of Buddhism have already been waiting there for quite a long time. Buddha's view of universal laws and science far surpasses our current scientific comprehension. Therefore, we cannot claim that science can prove whether Buddhism is right or wrong. What modern science says is actually very much in line with what the Buddha taught. So regarding the first question, science's starting point isn't to prove if Buddhism is superstitious or not. It is mainly to prove that the Buddha was right. Superstition is an entirely separate matter. We are not using science to prove that Buddhism is not superstition. In fact, to me, superstition is a matter of each individual's unique personal mindset. It's not simply about being right or wrong at a given moment. In my memory, the very famous Chinese ancient philosopher Zhuangzi, he taught us and once said a very well-known phrase, "My life has its limits, but knowledge undoubtedly has no bounds." To use what is finite to pursue the infinite is indeed perilous. Although science is developing very rapidly and is full of variety today, that doesn't necessarily mean it is absolutely all-powerful. Many people even hope to use science to prove that Buddhism is not superstition. But if you look deeper, even scientists themselves can be superstitious. Who can actually prove that they are not superstitious? Let me give an example for you. The very famous and renowned scientist Isaac Newton was, without a doubt, a fervent believer in alchemy. He hoped to find an experimental method to transform matter, to perform alchemical transmutation. Einstein was even more superstitious. What was he superstitious about? He believed that scientific truth is not subject to human interference. He thought science and humanity were separate. That's why he didn't accept quantum mechanics, because quantum mechanics emphasizes that human consciousness and the universe cannot fundamentally be separated. But it has been proven that quantum mechanics is completely correct. Without quantum mechanics, there would be no development of today's modern electronic technology as we know it. So whether it's Einstein or Newton, they both had their own superstitions. Every person has their own superstitions. It's just different degrees of superstition. Everyone has it. Who is superstitious and who is not? Everyone has of some kind. Even the most intelligent and wise, like Einstein, had his superstitions. So superstition is a feeling that comes from deep within everyone. It's not something arises when science reaches a certain stage. It's always been with us.
Yes, just now during our conversation, some random phrases suddenly came to my mind. They're from Khenpo Rinpoche's original books. Khenpo Rinpoche wrote many books. In one of them, he describes some of his experiences giving lectures at various venues. I've noticed that Khenpo Rinpoche often in his lectures, as we may have noticed, draws on many terms from science, including quantum mechanics, as well as some relevant data from the scientific community. What Khenpo Rinpoche often says is that 2,000 years ago, Buddha had already left his words in this world. Now, science is gradually, just as Professor Pan mentioned earlier, gradually verifying the value of some of these teachings. I'm not sure how Khenpo Rinpoche views this. Does Buddhism need to rely on science for explanation? Is it necessary?
I think actually, for certain specific individuals, it is indeed the case that it is beneficial if some Buddhist principles are explained through science. That can be very effective indeed as well. Because for so many people, in fact, all around the world today, they genuinely believe in the power of science, truly. When it comes to other religions or even Buddhism, not as many people necessarily believe in them. If we use some scientific methods to verify and confirm these teachings taught in religions, then in this situation, many people will feel that they will come to realize that what we call Buddhism or Buddha Dharma actually aligns quite well with widely established scientific perspectives. But in reality, it's not because we are Buddhists or because we have faith that we deliberately exaggerate Buddhist viewpoints for a particular purpose. Truly, in my own case, I must say, I have actually been studying Buddhism for over 30 years, and at the same time, I'm especially interested in fields like quantum mechanics and psychology, and fields like astronomy and geography, as well as some of the more cutting-edge and advanced technologies that are available to us today. By studying, comparing, researching, and analyzing these fields, it becomes very easy to discover during this process that indeed there were actually many discoveries made over 2,500 years ago. Once I also spoke with Professor Zhu, formerly of the University of Science and Technology of China, and I personally interviewed him face to face. I asked him, "You have been president of the University of Science and Technology for many years. Well, why do you say that? Why do you think when scientists painstakingly climb to the top of the mountain, the Buddhist masters have already been waiting there? Do you have some other motive for saying this? Or is it that a certain theory of the Buddha has truly attracted you?" At that time, he was also speaking from the heart and shared his insights. He said that through the practice of yoga and through meditation and through Buddhist studies, including texts like the Yoga Karabhumi Shastra and others, it was only after listening to many wise teachers that he truly realized that many of these principles had actually already been stated long ago. It's just that scientists have been continually verifying them afterwards. It's only when we make these comparisons we discover that religion also has such an extraordinary side and profound dimensions. Therefore, I think Einstein also once said, among all the religions, if there is one religion that can be completely compatible with science in the world, it is Buddhism. Perhaps for followers of other religions, they may not fully agree with this. But in Buddhism, we especially and very sincerely hope deeply that everyone can objectively analyze. During the process of analysis, perhaps there is some truth to it, and perhaps we still need to continue observing further